Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I can't be with you here today, but we should be able to finish up these notes pretty easily. This is a pretty simple idea. If you can handle multiplying fractions and mixed numbers, which I think I saw some evidence of. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to look at the warm-ups that you just did, but I think I think people were getting it. You should be able to get dividing fractions and mixed numbers just as easily because it's practically the same thing. So we are going to go through some notes where we talked a little bit about them last class, and that pretty much had it. A lot of folks were saying all the right things. They seemed to know what to do, and that's a good thing. So that'll make life a lot easier for us, and we'll. We'll get the notes down kind of official-like, and then I'll go through a couple of examples, and then we can get some practice on doing these division and multiplication work together. Okay? So, like we talked about, some people were already saying the words, right? When we're dividing fractions, what we're really doing is turning them into multiplication, which is great because multiplication is one of the easiest things you can do with fractions. So to divide fractions, you switch division to multiplication and flip the fraction that follows the operation. Notice I'm not saying flip the second fraction. It is true when you're only dividing two fractions that, yeah, you're going to flip the second one. You never change the first one. Never ever change the first one because that one has to stay the lead off and it can't change. But whatever follows the operation, wherever the operations are, whatever the operations are, that's what we got to. That's what we can change. So keep, change, flip. Though I heard that mentioned last time. That's one that's something people seem to remember pretty well. So that does work. So let's go through just a couple of quick examples. You've got a couple of examples on your notes. See if you can't follow the instructions that we just talked about. There's not much to it, so if you want to wait until we go through it, you can, and then we'll get practice doing these on your own. So hit pause right now if you want to take a crack at those two examples on your notes by yourself, or not, or you can just wait for me to restart. So the first example is a pretty straightforward division of two fractions. So 2/5 divided by 4/7. So we're going to keep, that never changes because there's no operation in front of the 2/5. The only reason we can flip that 4/7 is because we're changing division to multiplication and we're flipping that to 7/4. Then we multiply like we normally do. And we would get 14/20, which divides nicely down to 7/10. Now, if you got it down to 14/20, that's fine. That's great. We'll work on reducing later. But keep, change, flip. These same rules apply for fractions, whether they're fractions kind of to start with, like they were in example 1, or whether they are fractions you create when you turn mixed numbers, like we have here, into improper fractions. It just works for fractions, no matter how we came to them. Right? So this first step is just converting those 1 1/2 and 5 3/4 into improper fractions. So that really is 3/2 divided by 23/4. Then, now we are in the process of keep, change, flip. And we flip the one that follows the operation because we're switching the operation. The reason we never change the first one is that there's no operation in front of it to change along with it. So this is a two-part move. When we change the sign, the operation, we change whatever is the next fraction. And a little bit bigger numbers, no big deal. If we get 12/46, and that does reduce down to 6/23, and that's, again, if you got to 12/46 from that, that's great. If you got to 6/23, even better. And some things to just bear in mind as we're going through this. One, our positive negative rules don't change. We still need to keep track of what the sign of our answer is going to be, and that follows the same rules they always have. You know, if it's an even number of negative signs, it's going to be a positive answer. If it's an odd number of negative signs, it's a negative answer. And then don't lose sight of, in this problem here, right, what were we doing? We're doing a smaller number divided by a bigger number. That's going to be a small fraction, right? 1 over, that's really like 2/6-ish. That's close to 2 divided by 6 initially. So that should be a pretty small fraction, which 6/23 actually absolutely is. So that's dividing fractions and mixed numbers. It's not all that hard if we can remember that we're really just keep, change, flip, and all those other rules that we've covered in the course of the class are still going to apply. All right? So we have plenty of opportunity to practice this. Please let me know if you have any questions. Hope this helped.